talked a lot about, maybe too much, about the not great state that the MCU is in right now, right? At least compared to its own success, the state of the MCU is pretty rough. Maybe glorious compared to some other franchises that are going, but by its own standards, pretty rough. And we've talked a lot about how there is a lot riding on this Deadpool movie, man. A lot riding on Deadpool 3. And one director, Matthew Vaughn, who directed X-Men Days of Future Past, he not only believes that this Deadpool movie is going to be good, he believes that this Deadpool movie is literally going to save the MCU. This comes to us from Screen Rant, who, quoting Matthew Vaughn, said this: "That's going to be the jolt. The Marvel Universe is about to have a jolt of them, and it's going to bring that body back to life. I think Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are about to save the whole Marvel Universe." I mean, that part again. It's going to bring that body, the dead body of the MCU, the corpse, it's going to bring that body back to life. I think Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are about to save the whole Marvel Universe. Now listen, in life in general, but in entertainment specifically, we are all prone to hyperbole. But Rob, I would kind of suggest here that I don't know that Matthew Vaughn is wrong here, nor maybe even exaggerating. Might be exaggerating to suggest that Marvel is a dead corpse at the side of the road right now. But look, we've always said this around our show. Winning cures everything, right? Just does. With the MCU being quiet right now, with stuff actually going on screen now that Echo is in the rearview mirror, thankfully, all that's coming out theatrically in 2024 for Marvel is Deadpool 3. That creates an opportunity, not just to inject the MCU with a great, fan-pleasing, box office success, critically loved films, give them the opportunity to do that, but it then also gives them the opportunity that is going to be the statement of the MCU in all of 2024. That as the audience then sits and waits until Captain America 4, which I believe now is coming out in 18 years, as the audience sits and waits for Captain America 4, the lasting impression of the last thing we all saw in theaters was, hopefully, this great, awesome, fun movie. And you're going to generate, if you crack it out of the park, and that's a big if, you're going to generate a state where people are going to have 8, 9, 10, whatever months to sit there and go, when is the next MCU movie? Because that hasn't been the feeling lately with the MCU. Woo, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, when's the next MCU movie? No, that hasn't been the case. So there is really a definitive opportunity here to not just inject a great film into the mainstream with it, but then also have that movie be the lingering thing that you have as audiences wait. Now, the problem with that is, the double-edged sword on that is, if Deadpool 3, sucks the proverbial hose, then that's going to be the impression that's going to sit with everybody until Captain America 4, right? Oh, that Deadpool 3 sucked. And now we just get to sit there and think about nothing but Deadpool 3. No palate cleanser coming. No, the good thing about some of the MCU stuff that hasn't been great is that there was at least something else coming out shortly that if that's good, it can kind of clean the palate a little bit, right? If Deadpool 3 is bad, and I'm not suggesting remotely that it is, I have all the faith in the world in this film. I'm just saying, if it's bad, it could be real bad for the MCU. So I agree with Matthew Vaughn, Rob. I think this could be the thing that drastically improves the current situation for the MCU. They just got to be careful that it doesn't go the opposite direction, because it can do that too. What do you think about Matthew Vaughn's comments?
Look, they make me hopeful because, I love the X-Men. But first of all, I don't see this movie as an MCU film. I see this movie as the exclamation point or the period or the comma or the semicolon on the Fox X-Men universe, because these characters don't exist in the MCU.
Right, but I think Marvel's going to make it their job when the marketing for this movie comes out to make it
No doubt.
to us be an MCU film.
No doubt.
But that hasn't started yet.
I totally agree, but it's not going to start that way. So this movie might be the greatest movie in the world. And it might be, I hope it is, because I love both these characters. I love Jackman's portrayal. Remember the last time he played Wolverine, it was Logan, and we all love that. So I'd love to see, he looks great in the yellow suit. We all wanted to see that too. I hope this movie's great. And I have to say that I have set myself up for this. It's one of my most eagerly awaited movies of the year. I think the Sean Levy, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman trilogy or triumvirate trinity is irresistible. I want it to be great, but I also think the level of disappointment is extreme for me because we're all expecting a great deal from this movie, and I wonder if our expectations exceed the ability of them to even if they bring down a burning bush or two, the 10 Commandments from the mountain, if it's that good, it still might not be good enough. But whether it's going to save the MCU, well, one, I don't know if the MCU needs saving. It needs rehabilitation.
It certainly needs at least some resuscitating.
It needs some resuscitation. But hearing that from Matthew Vaughn, look, filmmakers are prone to hyperbole when it comes to things like this. We've seen it before. James Gunn saying The Flash was the greatest superhero movie ever.
It was good, though.
But I really like The Flash.
I like it.
I hope it's good. I hope he's right. I really do, because I want this movie to be good so badly. And I'm looking from what we've heard, there's so many fun things that I think we're going to get in this movie that I really can't wait to see it. If nothing else, it's going to be a delicious souffle that I think is going to put a smile on everyone's face, and it's R-rated.
Yep. And one good thing that this movie has is rarely in superhero movies you get a second shot. They had their first shot with that Wolverine Origins, Deadpool. All their bad ideas came out there. So let's get all the good ones coming out in this movies.
It can't be overemphasized, the importance of perception. Because I remember back a number of years ago when the DCEU was kind of disappointing audiences, right? Listen, you guys know how I feel about Man of Steel. I think it's the most underrated comic book film of all time, but a lot of the audience didn't like it. I like Batman versus Superman, but a lot of the audience didn't like it. And so what would happen, though, is you'd have that disappointment with a lot of the fans, but then Comic-Con would come, and if there's two things that I think the DCEU always did better than the MCU, number one is their trailers, and number two, I always thought they had better scores. Not that Marvel's had bad trailers or bad scores. I'm just saying, I just thought they always had a really good edge in that, right? So Comic-Con would come, and everybody would show up at Comic-Con and kind of feeling a little bit dour about the DCEU because, the films never. But then they would drop some piss yourself amazing trailer. Some trailer that would just blow everybody's minds and go, yeah. And inevitably, what always came out on social media after those trailers drop? R.I.P. Marvel. Oh, this is the end of the MCU. Because that's how good their trailers were. They would rock at these trailers. And all of a sudden, all the dourness for at least a few months would be replaced by this optimism. Okay, now the DCEU is about to get on track, right? Deadpool is in a position where it can be that. It can be that thing that is taking a lot of the MCU fans like myself who are feeling rather dour about the state of the MCU at the moment and have us go, there we go. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas, as my old gym teacher used to say. Now we're cooking with gas. I don't really know what that means, but it has an opportunity to do that. And then we would have to wait until Captain America 4, but hopefully, because Rob, I think it's going to make a world of difference for Captain America 4. If we're leading into Captain America 4 where everybody's still feeling dour about the MCU, or leading into Captain America 4 with a lot of people feeling optimistic again. And Deadpool has the opportunity to do that. Do you think it will? Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. I've told you guys many times that after switching to Mint Mobile, I am spending less than a third on my cell bill than I used to with a major carrier. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All Mint plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And don't worry about having to change phones or numbers. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
I think it will. You know what? You know what this movie has that no other MCU before it has had?
Hugh Jackman.
Well, high wattage star power.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds is a star. You know, whether it's Welcome to Wrexham, whether it's his Mint Mobile commercials, or whether it's the body of work he's already done with director Sean Levy. You know, Free Guy, The Adam Project, and now this. I mean, they're working together. This is a group of guys that have gotten together specifically to knock it out of the park. This is a dream team that's been put together. You know, this is the battle of the network stars, but brought into, I don't know if that's going to work, but no one knows what that is. brought into the movie realm. And I mean, it's theirs to lose. And I don't think we've ever had a comic book movie, you know, that has this kind of star power in between these two charismatic guys. You know, both song and dance men, sort of. Hugh Jackman can kill it on Broadway, and Ryan Reynolds can sing, as we saw in his holiday movie.
Little Christmas movie.
You know, I mean, these are showmen. You know, these are two showmen that are coming together that understand their characters. I mean, Deadpool exists on screen because of Ryan Reynolds. And Hugh Jackman agreed to come back to the signature role that he's been, 25 years. I mean, it will be, 24 years that he's been on screen, but 25 years that he's been playing this role. And that's astonishing. So I think that these guys, it's their mission in life to deliver the banger of all bangers.
Can I just mention that I think it's awesome that as you were setting up your point about mega star power, and then to emphasize Ryan Reynolds' mega star power, you went to producer of Welcome to Wrexham and star of the Mint Mobile ads. Like none of the other stuff. That's the credentials of Ryan Reynolds.
I was trying to just show his diversification.
More recent.
I mean,
Yes.
the fact is, no, what I meant by that is Ryan Reynolds is now first and foremost an entrepreneur.
He's a businessman.
He is a businessman, and this is doing some good business. It ain't show friends, it's show business. And this movie, I could see Ryan Reynolds saying, I mean, I'm sure he's going to make more, but this could be Ryan Reynolds' last movie. He might want to hang it up after this because he's making far more money doing other things. And if he goes out on this kind of a high note, maybe, or at least take some time away from acting.
I'll tell you why I don't agree.
I mean, he's not going to do it. I don't either.
I mean, maybe a little bit of time away from acting because, I mean, listen, he's told me that he is feeling an increased amount of priority in his life to just spend more time with his kids and his wife, right? But the reason why I don't believe he's hanging it up here is because, and this is me speculating, I can't see Kevin Feige or Marvel going to Ryan Reynolds and say, okay, we'll open Pandora's box by having a Deadpool movie without saying, we'll bring Deadpool over. We'll do a Deadpool movie. We want a 3-picture commitment. I'm not saying they did that. I'm just saying I have a hard time believing that they would sign up for this movie without getting a certain commitment from Ryan Reynolds for a certain number of films. You know what I mean?
Look, I totally agree with that. And also, now he's the biggest star of the MCU. If he comes over to the MCU, there is nobody in the MCU that's more of a star than Ryan Reynolds. He now goes to the top of the pyramid, and he's the person that we're going to want to see. Whether he's in Secret Wars, whether he destroys the Marvel Universe, whatever he's going to do as Deadpool, he becomes one of their marquee attractions. I mean, what other character do you want to see other than bringing Tony Stark back or bringing back Steve Rogers?
That's it, right? There's like, you bring Ryan Reynolds in, he's the face now of the MCU, bringing back Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans. He kind of becomes, by default, the presumptive face of the MCU in a lot of ways.
I mean,
right?
wouldn't it be hilarious if the end of Deadpool 3 ends with him in the MCU standing around, well, what next? And somebody comes up to him and says, the Avengers need a leader.
I can't.
He's not a leader.
And then that's just the end of the movie.
You don't put Deadpool on any kid's lunchbox.
Yeah. Now, Colossus. By the way, have we heard any word about whether the dude who played Colossus in the Deadpool movies is coming over? I can't remember. Because I think they said Negasonic is coming back. You know what? Yes, I do now remember them saying Colossus come back. Can I say, Colossus in the Deadpool movies is one of my favorite secondary characters in movies at all. Like, he's such a great foil for Deadpool himself. He's just so wholesome. He's so good. And listen, you can crack all you want about Deadpool 2's Juggernaut. That fight between Colossus and Juggernaut is one of my, not in the top 5, but one of my favorite comic book movie fights ever. I just love it.
By the way, they could re-announce, there is a comic run called Uncanny Avengers.
Yep.
So what if they decide, Kang Dynasty, that didn't really work out. Our next Avengers movie is going to be called the Uncanny Avengers. Come on, that'd break the internet, at least for a day.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.